All you do all your life, as I've done, is sell yourself for money. And I would never wish this on anyone. And one of my worst enemies, I would never wish this on, because this is a hard life and it's not fun, and you can't depend on anybody. Nobody.
She's being gang raped, she's being beat, she's being deprived of water and food for 3 days until he breaks her will to the point where she's going to do whatever he says because he has just become her God.
It's an art of betrayal out here.
When I was a child, I honestly wanted to be the President of the United States. I did, and I actually got an award in 6th grade for the first African-American woman that would ever be President of the United States of America, but I don't think that's going to work now. Gotta do what I gotta do to make sure that my daughter and I can eat and live, because that's the bottom line here. People go and work corporate jobs to make sure that their families are taken care of. I guess I am a corporation. My body is a corporation. So, handle my business.
Our track is about 50, 80 blocks long. They gotta keep it moving. If you sit there, your father gonna sweat you. They're gonna hit you with a soliciting ticket. You tell someone's running gangs because they was looking all up in the truck, trying to see who it was. Then you see you there with some pros out there that was looking down at the ground, wasn't trying to make no eye contact. They already know if you make that eye contact, you're taking it all. That's right.
A lot of times people don't understand how an 11 or 12-year-old girl who last week was an 8th grade student is now walking International Boulevard and selling her body. When you get to know these girls and you understand their stories and the pain and the tragedy that is their life, most oftentimes walking International Boulevard is not the first time that they've been exploited. They've already been molested and raped by their father or their grandfather or their neighbor.
The first time I had a sexual encounter with someone for money, I was probably like 11 or 12 years old. My mom was on drugs for a period of time in my life, and she wasn't there for me and my brother. So I'm very mature for my age. I was a double D when I was like 6th grade, like full-bodied woman. We needed food and, just things to just survive in the world, I guess you would say. And, oh God, I'm so nervous. One of our neighbors used to have me come downstairs and clean his house. It was the first time I actually, sucked somebody's dick for money, I guess you would say, because he paid me to come and clean his house, but he was also paying me to come downstairs and suck his dick, and then,
Working in the Vice and Child Exploitation Unit can be heartbreaking at times. My very first case stands out to me, and that case involved 2 11-year-old girls. One of them was an honor roll student who had a very abusive, drug-addicted mother, and her mom basically told her that if she ever got into trouble or got into a fight at school, not to come home. And that day she got into a fight at school. She convinced her best friend that they needed to run away. So they ran away. They stayed out all night. They rode the BART until they got kicked off the BART. And when they got put off in West Oakland, they just wandered around the streets. And within about an hour of wandering the streets of West Oakland, they were picked up by 2 pimps. And the 2 pimps were cousins, they were seasoned vets, and they were predators. And the pimps separated the girls immediately. And the pimps realized that one of the girls was more physically and mentally developed and mature than the other girl, and that was the girl that they worked the street that night. The other girl, they groomed her for the first 3 days and were getting ready to put her out on the track when the police department came and rescued the girls.
I don't do that 13. I don't do none of that young shit. But there's a lot of desperado niggas that will do that shit, and we call it desperado pimping. They desperate, they do anything. They goddamn pimp their mama if they could. And then the ones that we stay away from, and you bitches will stay away from.
When we talk about these girls, I oftentimes hear people refer to them as prostitutes. And that word implies that these girls are making a choice to be criminals, when really, just like every other crime that's committed against children, they're victims. And so we refer to them as victims of child exploitation, and specifically victims of commercial sexual exploitation.
My daughter got sick. She was a preemie. It's always hard to tell the story, but she got sick, and her dad's family wouldn't give me the money for her medicine, and I didn't have health insurance. So the medicine was like $700, and I didn't have it, and no one would give it to me. So I'd heard of this street in Santa Rosa called Santa Rosa Avenue, and I knew girls went out there to get money. So I got home from work one day, and I went and put on my little zebra print skirt and my black tank top and just went out there. And
so most oftentimes when we see the girls, it's the same repeated risk factors, which are family problems coupled with the lack of resources and abuse, whether it's neglect, sexual abuse, or mental and physical abuse. Those are the risk factors.
When I was in DC, I got robbed at gunpoint with me and my girl, and they duct taped our fucking wrists and our ankles. They hog-tied us, laid us down on the bed, face down, and put pillows over our head. And I heard the gun. And all I could do was just lay there. This is like the most peaceful story I've ever told in my life. All I could do was just lay there and just be so peaceful, knowing that, like, I as a person did everything that I thought was right in my life to provide for my family, and that they knew that I loved them.
So that's the one thing about them bitches. They gotta watch out for a pimp that's trying to knock them, 5-0 that's trying to knock them, a punk nigga trying to rob them, and a trick nigga trying to get over on something.
He's a pimp that just uses strong arm, just will snatch a girl off a corner, snatch a girl off a block and trunk her, throw her in the back of the trunk, and then the next thing she knows, she's tied up, she's being gang raped, she's being beat, she's being deprived of water and food for 3 days, until he breaks her will to the point where she's going to do whatever he says because he has just become her god.
It is what it is. I've accepted my fate. I know that God loves me. I know God loves me. I know that because God is the only person that loves everyone unconditional, no matter what you do or what type of lifestyle you come from. God, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, whoever, they love you as long as you have a pure heart. And I believe I have a pure heart. I just gotta do what I gotta do to make sure that my daughter and I can eat and live.